Do you think the, for lack of a better term, the surge of American Sniper and its popularity at the box office, do you think that will affect its chances at winning Best Picture? The Best Picture nominees are, and just American Sniper, Birdman, Boyhood, The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Imitation Game, Selma, The Theory of Everything, and Whiplash. So, American Sniper, do we think the fact that there has been this commercial and popular groundswell around the movie, will it be kind of like Braveheart in that sense?
No. I think that
No.
I think that right now there's an outside chance that Sniper could come in and shock everybody at the Academy Awards with either a Best Picture win or Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
However, to date, it has been a two-horse race with Birdman and Boyhood.
Yeah.
And which is what were the two films that we were talking about that
Yeah.
are these smaller films that nobody could have foreseen that it was a two-horse race between these films. Could Sniper come in and take it if they cancel each other out? I think it's definitely an outside possibility.
Yeah.
But that isn't the one that I will ultimately predict.
I do think, though, too, we shouldn't necessarily rule out Grand Budapest Hotel, because that's been cleaning up in a lot of technical awards, and I think it's favored to win original screenplay.
Yeah, I think it will easily.
So I mean, it might get that as, but it did well at the Globes, and I don't know. It could be the recipient of, like you said, other movies kind of canceling each other out.
Right now, though, in the precursor season, that you're looking at. All of the critical awards, sort of the smaller critics awards, the Golden Globes, BAFTA, everything has gone to either Boyhood or Birdman at this point. If you look at the guilds, you would probably, it just won DGA.
Yeah, it won the PGA, the Producers
It won the
Guild,
PGA.
not the golf thing.
Got it.
so if you're going by the guilds, which a lot of those members are also Academy members, there's a lot of crossover. You would say that probably it is Birdman. And if you look at the DGA in particular, I think in like 66 years, if I'm getting this wrong, I'm sorry. I think it's about 66 years. There's only been 7 times that selection did not also win Best Picture. So, or pardon me, Best Director. I'm getting ahead of myself. So if you look at the guilds, I think that I would ultimately say Birdman for Best Picture.
Yeah.
It's my favorite movie of the
So
year.
that's what you think. We're going to do a little game of what should win, what will win, but what should win. So is Birdman for both your pick for both what should win and what will win?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Birdman also will win, but I would like Grand Budapest to win.
Okay.
I also think if they gave out an Oscar for the movie you'll watch the most times, it would easily win, because everything besides Grand Budapest on that list is either kind of longish or kind of a bummer.
I mean, honestly, Birdman, it's either Birdman or Boyhood. I think ultimately Birdman will win Best Picture, and I know we'll get into Best Director in a minute, but Linklater will take Best Director.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a very small chance for Grand Budapest, almost minimal.
Yeah.
The only thing that could upset is Sniper at this point.
What do you think, Jim?
I think that I have the feeling that Boyhood, because it's one that and Grand Budapest are the ones that have been out longest.
Mm-hmm.
I do wonder if there weren't a lot of people just made up their minds about Boyhood, and there has been a little bit of a backlash against Birdman, of people feeling like it's overrated and all that. And while the Guild Awards are important, the Screen Actors Guild, they gave the cast award to Birdman, but the actual acting award went to Eddie Redmayne. So I thought it's a little weird to me that, it wasn't as universal as I thought it would be. Like, if Birdman was such a slam dunk, then why didn't Keaton win?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I feel like there are enough votes splitting away that I think Birdman probably should win, but I think Boyhood might eke out the victory.
So you're going Boyhood.
I don't know. I'm really
You got
on
to
the
check
fence.
the box.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to say Birdman will and should, although, I don't know, I liked Selma, I think, a little bit more.
Selma's got no shot.
Yeah, oh, no, I know. Actually, I mean, some of my favorite movies this year weren't even nominated, so.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Where's the Babadook?
I know, right?
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, you can have Gone Girl, you can have 10 nominees,
Yeah.
and you only put up 8.
Yeah.
What up with that, Hollywood?
No, I know.
That's going to be our next show. What up
What
with
up with
that,
that, Hollywood? But there's so many questions
Followed
about...
by WTF, Gotham.
Yeah, I agree. There's so many questions in that regard, but I think that if we're just boiling it down to, I mean, because we could have a whole other conversation about that, about what's left off and what sort of has been shoved to the side this season. But so you're going Birdman?
Birdman.
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 What will and should win. So let's move on to the next category.
So it'll definitely be Boyhood.
You know what? I think
we've been really good on predictions. Actually,
I think
here.
it's actually a very interesting year because I wouldn't be surprised if Boyhood got it. I mean, it's not like
I wouldn't either.
I don't feel like anything is breaking out ahead of the pack. But Birdman has kind of trended that way the last couple of weeks. But
it's really tough to say this year. I would say that the two hardest to predict categories this year are, there's some that are a lock, but the two hardest to predict categories this year are Best Picture and Best Director. Really, really tough.
Yeah.
Well, actually, let's talk about Best Director then. I was going to do Actor, but yeah, I think this is a better segue, and we all know I love my segues. Best Director nominees: Wes Anderson, Grand Budapest Hotel; Alejandro González Iñárritu, I think I'm saying his name right, Birdman; Richard Linklater, Boyhood; Bennett Miller, Foxcatcher; Moulton Tildum, The Imitation Game.
There's your winner.
That's our new Benedict Cumberbatch.
He did that movie Headhunters. I didn't realize
that movie is so good.
Yeah.
That's my recommendation for this week, and I'll get into that later.
Yeah. So
Recommendation.
we think we've been saying kind of off-camera stuff. We really think it's a two-man, unfortunately, race. Sorry, Ava DuVernay. But
did you see the Key and Peele sketch about the Oscars?
No.
It was like the Super Bowl Oscar sketch. It was so
I haven't
amazing.
seen it.
There's my recommendation. Go watch the Key and Peele sketch about the Super Bowl and the Oscars.
So we think Best Director is between Linklater for Boyhood and Iñárritu for Birdman.
Yes.
Do we agree with that? Or do we think Wes Anderson, they'll probably throw him Best Original Screenplay?
Yeah, I think that's
it's like the way they gave Tarantino that for Pulp Fiction, but he didn't get director.
So bad that that was on last night, and I was like, again, how
I saw
so good.
Pulp Shakespeare recently. It's called Pulp Shakespeare (parentheses) or Bard Fiction, and it's hilarious. I think it's a touring show, but it's mostly LA. But it's what if Shakespeare wrote Pulp Fiction and they translated it into like Shakespearean type language, and it's hilarious. You know, instead of saying it's the one that says bad mother, you know, it's like it's the one that says blasted Oedipus. Anyways, so Best Director, do we think it really is just a two-person race?
When I was getting ahead of myself earlier, he won. And I really don't Iñárritu. And I don't think I'm pronouncing his name correctly, so forgive me. But at the DGA, but Linklater's been so beloved to date, and he's I mean, it's really been split between the two of them. But I think that ultimately that Linklater is going to take Best Director because I think that I think Birdman is beautifully directed. But if you think about what it is that's appealing to people about Boyhood, it's his big experiment. It's the fact that he invested 12 years to do this thing that hadn't been done. And it's really, really very much about what he did as a director, even way more than the performances.
Or even the story.
You know, well, you have to think about that kid too and say, that this guy was able to kind of like take him through 12 years of his life and get a pretty consistent performance out of him.
I mean,
at the very
it's
least.
slightly uneven, but he was growing up. Nobody could know that he was going to be an actor or not. And the fact that he was able to get even a mostly consistent performance out of him.
I mean, uneven actually works though for a kid because your personality does change. And when he was a moody teenager, it showed in his performance. And when he was like a smoother young man, it showed,
I mean, uneven in terms of like it wasn't always the best acting. To be honest.
I mean,
especially put against Ethan Hawke and Patricia Arquette, who were consistently great.
Yeah, I think he
was good. But
yeah, I think it's Linklater's to lose at this point. Yeah. I think the fact that Iñárritu won at the DGA, I don't think that really means anything, because Ben Affleck won and then he wasn't even nominated. And Eastwood was nominated for the DGA, but he wasn't nominated for the Oscar for Sniper. So I think that it's going to be Linklater will and probably should win. I did love Birdman. I love what he did with it, but I do feel like it's I think I can just, it sounds cynical, but I can see them just, the voters, just being like, all right, we're going to give the movie to Birdman, but let's throw him Best Director, and we'll give Wes the script. And,
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen,
Yeah.
in fact, yeah.
I think it's going to be that too, but I also think it's, like I said, to me, Birdman is so much of the success of that movie is based on the direction. However, it's just such a more obvious thing to honor the direction of Boyhood, because it is such an unusual and lengthy and Herculean task that he took on that nobody's ever going to do again.
I think another thing, though, that we have to talk about is Inarritu and Birdman that talk about Herculean tasks, making that movie essentially one take. It takes so much skill and so much coordination, and to get those performances dialed in and to do it in a way that
I mean, we want to be clear that it's not actually one take. It looks like one.
But I'm saying, like, it was masterfully done.
Yeah, it was.
And not only that, it was a great story and great performances and everything that you want to get when you're directing a film. So I think that he's my choice for who I think should win. Yeah. But I think Linklater is also deserving, and I think he's who's going to win, of course.
Okay, so the picks are Inarritu should, Linklater will, same. Inarritu should, Linklater will?
I'm happy with either of them, but Linklater I think will, yeah.
But what about should?
I don't know.
Sign on the line or whatever it was you said.
I am signing on the line.
decision.
I'm saying Linklater will. Either one of them are should.
Okay, that didn't help.
I give Inarritu a little bit the edge.
Okay.
As a director.
All right, so Linklater will and probably should. Let's move on to Best Actor. We have
this one's another tough one, right?
this. Well, yeah, but again, I think it's a two-man race. But the nominees
Jake
are
Gyllenhaal. Oh wait,
He should have been
Chris
there.
Pratt as
Nightcrawler was great. If you guys haven't seen it,
So
see
good.
Nightcrawler.
yeah, Steve Carell, Foxcatcher, Bradley Cooper, American Sniper, Benedict Cumberbatch, The Imitation Game, Michael Keaton, Birdman, Eddie Redmayne, The Theory of Everything. And it's basically, it does seem like it's a two-man race between Keaton and Redmayne.
You know, Redmayne, I think, probably has the edge at this point, assuming that no one saw Jupiter Ascending, which we probably are assuming that. But he does.
He's not nominated for that.
Look, he was great in that movie. The Academy, look, let's face it, they love this kind of story. They love this kind of performance. That's whether it's My Left Foot or that has not only an emotional element to it, but yeah, it does have a technical challenge for an actor. That having your body do something that it does not do for that consistent a period of time, it's actually really not easy. And to sell it, you know, so that we really believe that this is what is happening for him. So it was a technical challenge for him in a way that it wasn't for other people. So I do think he has the edge. The only surprise for me, again, could be Bradley Cooper. That could be a dark horse, but I love Michael Keaton so.
Yeah.
This is the performance of his life.
Yeah, like I don't think this is as good as it's going to get for him.
Yeah.
I don't see him, you know, because he works so inconsistently. He's a guy who's happy with his life outside of Hollywood, that this could be the only time he ever gets nominated. He should have been nominated for Clean and Sober, but he wasn't. And so I hope that for no other reason than, look, they've done this in the past, like the You've Earned It award. Like, give it to Keaton. Redmayne's what, maybe 30?
He has plenty of opportunity in the future to.
And also, it's like, I do have this kind of knee-jerk reaction to like such an Oscar bait formula for that movie.
Yeah.
You know,
you're saying
For Theory of Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It very much is. But again, like I do get it in the sense that that isn't an easy thing to do. What he did, it really isn't.
But some people, and I think this was one of the reactions from the anonymous Academy voters that THR spoke to, was that he was just doing an impersonation, a great impersonation, but whereas Keaton had to create a character out of whole cloth, I think is how they put it. I think there's something to be said for that too.
Well, the whole cloth of Michael Keaton experience that he is obviously drawing from. I mean, I'm not saying that those characters are equal, but he definitely has some of the, I was Batman, and people think of me as Batman.
There's part of me that thinks, I wonder if he's playing Nicolas Cage.
That's what I think, yeah. If anything, because that experience isn't actually Michael Keaton's experience. Michael Keaton's life has been pretty happy. It's really Nicolas Cage's experience.
Well, I mean, who are we to say if Nicolas Cage is happy or not either, but
He looks so bummed.
Hey, he was just an outcast with Hayden Christensen.
He just looks so bummed.
So here's what I think. I actually think Eddie Redmayne is not going to win this. I do think Michael Keaton's going to win it. I think for the reason that you said, Jim, I think Keaton's going to win it. It's going to make everybody feel really good.
Lifetime achievement.
And Eddie Redmayne is essentially going to have like 10 to 15 more shots at this thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I'm thinking will happen. And realizing that's kind of a long shot based on some evidence that we have already. But I think for this one, I want to say sentimental win for Keaton, who is very deserving, who's probably the most deserving as far as I'm concerned. But like in terms of the Academy, sentimental win.
Eddie Redmayne won SAG. He won BAFTA. He won the Globe. Keaton won the Globe too for comedy or musical, but. I don't know. I'm really on the fence about this one because my heart wants to say Michael Keaton will win because I so want him to win.
I need him to win.
No, seriously, I got money riding on it.
Seriously, like Vegas, I'm gonna owe a lot of things.
So your pick is.
You go first. Give me.
All right, I think Keaton should win. I think Eddie Redmayne will win.
Yeah.
I think that the fact that the Oscar that the SAG voters went for him, to me, was a bad signal because it was
a good signal if you're Eddie Redmayne.
Oh yeah,
very good signal.
Like I mean, and I just think that if you're Keaton and you had won everything else, but from your fellow actors who are the largest voting bloc.
Yeah.
It would make you feel like maybe I shouldn't immediately get up as soon as they say, and the winner is, Is
it going to be that moment, that Leonardo DiCaprio moment from last year where I kind of really, really hate it when they focus on the actor that you really think is going to win, and then they're sitting there like just keeping it together. I mean, I think a lot of people made this big deal out of him having like a tear in his eye or something. Like I don't know if he did or not, but wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? Like if you
course.
did this movie that you felt was going to, I mean, as much as actors like to talk down and people in general like to talk down like the importance of an Academy Award, it is recognized as the top award that you can achieve in that profession.
It's the light lamp of acting.
If they win, I think that their salaries go up something. I'd read something like if you win Best Actor, your salary
make that F. Murray
goes up.
Abraham money.
Your salary goes up by like $1 million.
Yeah.
The ladies, it's $500,000, but whatever, that's okay.
I don't think that is okay, but
I think Eddie Redmayne's going to win. I really do.
But you think Keaton
but I
should.
really think Keaton should win. Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'm a betting man, and I'll take you all on.
Okay.
Best Actress, I
think
think Best Actress is all pretty fair to say. Julianne Moore.
Yeah,
Julianne Moore.
Yeah. Should, will, like.
Yeah.
I saw.
They haven't shown up
but,
everyone else, but
I think
here's a burger.
I saw Still Alice this weekend, and there's some great performances from the ladies this year too. But I saw Still Alice this weekend, and I got to tell you, it will destroy you.
Yeah,
Although there's some part of me
it.
that wishes Rosamund Pike.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and here's
my
where,
actual personal favorite.
Yeah, well, here's where I'm a little torn is that I think that Gone Girl was made by Rosamund Pike's performance, and it was brilliant. And in another year, she would have won. Julianne, I really think she could have had a lot more heat on her. But Julianne Moore has been nominated 5 times, has never won. Yep. I think the Academy she's at that age where they are ready to honor her for her.
It's her Susan Sarandon year.
It's her Susan Sarandon, her collective body of work. I think it's actually a similar thing. Not only that, and that's not to dismiss this performance, because she has to go from a woman who is an internationally renowned academic to no longer able to speak by the end of the movie because she's got Alzheimer's. And so, and it's even in some moments she has to switch between coherent and not. It's a really beautiful performance. So I'm kind of torn. I think they're both great. I wish Rosamund Pike was in a different year.
I know. It is. I mean, that actually is an interesting thing. Like, if you look back at some of the races, like, dude, if your movie had just opened up 3 months later, it'd be a completely different story right now.
Yeah.
Let's talk about supporting actor. Pretty much J.K. Simmons in Whiplash. Will should.
Lock, win.
Okay.
Done.
Best supporting actress. Patricia Arquette's winning
and he
everything.
Should win.
And he should win. So we all agree he should will. Patricia Arquette is pretty much a lock at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Patricia Arquette, too, is like it's pretty much a performance that could have been a Best Actress nominee.
Yeah.
So
because what other actress is in that movie leading?
Yeah.
She's at. I think that's why she's in that category, honestly, is to win.
To win. Yeah, I think it was a very strategic move because they knew she'd win there, but not Best Actress.
Well, she's going up against Meryl Streep, who could win an Oscar for simply waking up in the morning, for Into the Woods, Emma Stone, Birdman, Keira Knightley, Imitation Game, Laura Dern, Wild. So do we think Kat, she really is a total lock?
Total lock.
Okay, cool. Let's do Best Animated Feature now. In case you've missed this, Lego Movie was not nominated.
But it won in Britain.
Yeah. Well,
everything's awesome in the UK, I guess.
Yeah, they
not rubbish.
Not rubbish. In fact, brilliant.
Inside joke. Animated movie. Let me just throw out the nominees real quick. Big Hero 6, The Box Trolls, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Song of the Sea, and The Tale of Princess Kaguya. So, will and should, Chris Kyle?
I think How to Train Your Dragon 2 is going to win. I haven't seen all the movies in this category, but Lego Movie should win.
Yeah. I know it's really bratty.
Even though it's not, it should. Yeah.
No, totally. I mean, that's what I think should have happened.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of bratty to say that at this point, but I'd have to agree that How to Train Your Dragon is on target to win. I think it would be really surprising to me if it doesn't, which is fine. I'm not saying anything against that movie. I loved Lego Movie. I did. Yeah.
I agree. I think How to Train Your Dragon 2 will likely win. Although I do wonder if Big Hero 6 doesn't have kind of an outside shot.
This is another category where I could see one of those smaller movies maybe eking into, like Kaguya or something, just because Lego Movie's not there.
Or Box Trolls or something.
I don't think Box Trolls.
Although I think How to Train Your Dragon 2 could kind of be like the Brave effect, where it's maybe, and we gave it a good review, but like, let's just say it won because it's got the prestige factor to it.
It was good.
It was good. I also really like Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that this isn't the only contentious thing about this category is that the folks who loved Lego Movie and feel like, why wasn't it on there?
I feel like Big Hero 6 was half of an amazing movie, and then the second half was just a little bit like, wow, this just became kind of standard after a while, which I thought it was still good, but not great all the way through. And I think How to Train Your Dragon 2 is consistently great throughout. So I think that's why it's going to be honored. Or it might be some dark horse, littler movie, just because Lego isn't there to clean up the awards.
Why wasn't Lego there?
I don't know.
There's been we did an Oscar snubs conversation at one point, and basically one school of thought is that animators are the primary voters in that particular category.
Live action.
And they had that it was they liked the more handcrafted stuff. But to me, it's like, then why wasn't Book of Life nominated? You know?
Exactly.
But like I haven't seen Song of the Sea. I really want to because it's Irish. But yeah, so I'm gonna go. Dragon will win. Lego Movie should win. But if I were
You're right, kind of bratty, but I think we're all comfortable saying that. That's what it was the biggest sort of what are you doing, Oscars moment.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a given. We all just assumed it was going to get nominated. It was going to race over. Now it's actually a race, and it's kind of screwed up everything. Is what I'm saying. All right, our final guesstimation category, best visual effects. Now, this why would you talk about that, IGN? Well, because, folks, the nominees are Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Guardians of the Galaxy, Interstellar, and X-Men: Days of Future Past. Yes, at a category where you've seen all the nominees.
Hopefully.
Before I said that the first two categories, picture and director, were the hardest to predict. I actually think this one might be the very hard. Well, okay.
Oh, I disagree.
We got a debate.
I've been reading a lot of those sort of responses and pollings. The most inconsistent category in terms of people's predictions is this one, and it is the most inconsistent of what Academy Award members have that they're voting for, because some people are voting for Guardians because it's a chance to honor Guardians, and everyone loves that movie, but it's a chance to honor it. I mean, there's a couple other chances, but this is definitely a big one.
I think hair and makeup is actually the one, although it's going up against Grand Budapest,
exactly,
so I'm
Grand
going to take
Budapest.
that back. So.
The second film that's a strong possibility is Apes,
Yeah.
which everybody thought would win on the first one, and it didn't. I mean, and frankly, those visual effects are insane.
Yeah, Apes should
win.
That's the one.
Apes should win.
Absolutely should.
Absolutely.
But I think there's just this weird, not anti-Andy Serkis, but I just don't think they're wrapping. I think they're voting for Nolan, basically.
Exactly, and this is why I'm going to eventually agree with you. When
Eventually.
in
I'm
short,
not there yet, but I will.
On Monday,
On
she
Monday, once I find out that I'm wrong. I think that when in doubt in any of these given categories, whether it's hair and makeup or a visual effects category, the film that is most like a prestige film will win. So if you take something like, I thought Bad Grandpa should have won for makeup, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Dallas Buyers Club
Because of the
did.
testicles.
No, I'll tell you why it should have won. Because that entire movie rested on people in real life, in person, believing that makeup.
And believing that he had really
And
long testicles.
God.
It happens when you get old.
Yes, and because
In
of
fact,
the
here they
testicles,
are right now.
because of the testicles deserved an Academy Award. That movie deserved to win makeup, but it didn't win.
And exactly, I think that's a really good point. Like that movie, a movie like that, will almost never win.
Yeah.
Yep.
Almost.
So that is why I think ultimately probably Interstellar will win, because it's the only place to give, Nolan,
Throw the dog a bone.
throw the dog a bone on this movie, and it is most like an Oscar movie.
Yeah. I seriously think that Apes is widely recognized as not just a good movie, but a good movie in that same kind of prestige category. And especially since it was snubbed the first time around, I'm going to give it will and should, because I think it actually, just the facial animation on the apes alone,
It's out of control.
there's that push in that opens the film where
his
you're just
eyes.
like, you think you're looking at a real ape, and then it does, things that you could never train an ape to do, and you're like, okay, I'm on board.
I went to the zoo last weekend and I saw the apes, and it was Valentine's Day, and so I started my day by going to the zoo, and then I went to see 50 Shades of Grey. And,
Two kinds of animal
Let me tell
behavior.
you, I saw something dirtier at the zoo than anything in 50 Shades of Grey.
I bet.
And it involved two apes.
And I
Yeah.
felt like the
And a
movie
butt.
really captured the capture. I feel like if anything,
Two
Planet of
apes and a
the.
butt is going to be your
Yeah.
next screenplay.
I feel like if anything, that apes captured two apes in a butt. In a way that
That's
Bad
what the whole
Grandpa's-
third movie's going to be
the way that
about.
Bad Grandpa needed to win for testicles, it should win for two apes in a butt.
Yeah. Look, she
This is
killed
like,
herself.
This is like so devolved. I'm sorry for taking us down.
I mean,
Bad Grandpa road.
to bring it around to Guardians though, like, I think Guardians is going to get shut out.
Oh, I do too.
I mean, Guardians, I would love for them to honor it, but they could have honored it by giving it a Best Picture
It doesn't
nomination
matter
or
because
something,
we
you know?
gave it Best Picture of the Year, so
IGN
and we
knows.
know what
You
we're
know?
talking about.
And we gave Apes,
All right.
I believe, visual effects.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to switch my vote, and on this one, vote with my heart and say apes should and will.
And well, nice.
All right, well, I'm going to stick to my guns and say Interstellar will, but
This
Apes
is how
should.
Oscar campaigning works, people. I got
It's
her
horse
on my
trading.
side.
Horse trading. You watch people fold in real time right here. Watch people's convictions go right down the toilet
Oh, that happens all
here
the time
on
on
Keeping
this
It
podcast.
Real.
I know, I came in so strong with that, and I'm like,
And let me tell you, I'm going to buckle like one of those cheap chairs at bingo.
which is how I love to buckle.
Oh
if
man,
I'm
they
going
should
to.
have really reinforced chairs at bingo too. Like, they should not be bringing cheap chairs to bingo. I'm just saying.
It's a lot of broken hips.
That's how you. That's how you lose grandma. All right, well, those are our Oscar predictions. Let us know in the comments who and what you think will win at this year's Oscars. We will be live updating our winner's story throughout the broadcast, and our UK team will be doing a post-award show wrap-up kind of conversation, a reaction video that Monday morning. So keep it on IGN for all things Oscar coverage.